Hey guys, welcome back to Talk Story, the podcast where we do a lot of different things on this show, actually. But we're doing something different today. We're here at my house, and we created this whole set just for
I love it.
my special guest today, Anela Apo.
Hi.
Thank you, Miss Windward Hawaii USA.
Yep.
Yep.
That's me.
And you will be participating in the Miss Hawaii USA pageant in 3 weeks, right?
3 weeks.
3
20
weeks.
days at the Hawaii Convention Center, November 10th at
Be there.
7 p.m. just in case.
Yeah.
anyone
Just a
wants to
plug
go.
in,
Yep,
right?
Little plug.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself before, just so people can understand, who you are and
Yeah.
how you got into being going into pageant.
So born and raised in Kailua, which is why I'm super happy to be representing the Windward side.
Mhm.
But growing up, I was never interested in doing pageants. I played volleyball and swimming for 10 plus years, and kind of a tomboy. So anything girly, like, it wasn't really my thing. So my friends and family were kind of shocked, to see me do something like this. But I was away in California going to school for a while and had gone through a lot physically, emotionally up there, and just needed a change. And I knew that there was a prelim competition to Miss Hawaii USA, and the girls that usually run in that competition were super successful. And I saw that and wanted to join, and I was interested in it last year, but still felt like I wasn't ready. So I didn't compete last year, and the directors of that pageant were like really mad at me for not doing it. So they said, you better come back next year and try out. And I did a year later, and this June competed at the Hawaii USA prelim and became Miss Windward USA. And now 3 weeks out till Miss Hawaii USA, and so much has changed for me this year, but just super happy and grew so much this year, and I'm excited and nervous, but it'll all be over in 3 weeks. So just enjoying every moment of it, really. Yeah.
Tell us about the preparation leading up to November 10th. It must be crazy right now.
Yeah. Well, physically, the obvious diet and exercise. I actually don't like to talk about it that much because I think people already think that pageants are all about how you look, which is not the truth at all. I mean, yeah, I do exercise and watch what I eat, but it just has become a lifestyle for me, and it's more about being healthy than looking a certain way. And that's kind of the message that I want to share. And although I try to, cut out the bad stuff, I eat pizzas here and there still, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But yeah, that's just a small part of it. But preparing mentally is probably the hardest part. You're getting judged on stage
By thousands of
swimsuit.
people.
Yeah, by people who don't know you at all. Most of the judges are from the mainland. They aren't even from Hawaii, which most people don't know. So trying to convey your message and your brand to people who aren't from here and who are strangers is kind of difficult, but it made me really dig deep and try and find out who I am and where I want to go in life. And it's kind of like a crash course in soul searching and finding out who you are. And I feel really lucky because it's something valuable to learn at such a young age. I'm 21, and I feel lucky to know my purpose and who I am at such a young age. So yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, there were a lot of struggles going through this process. My coaches, I love them so much, but they're tough, and they put you through different interview situations or on-stage questions that challenge you and challenge who you are at the core and in your heart. And sometimes, you can't answer a question and you just cry because you don't know the answer. And a lot of the times I don't have the answer to certain questions that we go through and get asked in practice, like how would you solve world hunger? And it's like certain things like that are kind of difficult and challenging, but you just got to do it and not give up. It's really easy to give up in this kind of thing because like I played volleyball before, right? So I had a team that wouldn't let me give up, but now it's just on me. And it's been a good learning experience that way because I don't have anyone to fall back on. I really have to be disciplined, and that's one of the biggest things that I've learned from it.
So one of the funniest things I've seen recently was those Japanese tourists that approached you. So how does it feel with people actually coming up to you and, you know, hey, like they recognize you on like social media, from social media or other different platforms?
It's strange. It's nice, but it's kind of weird because I've never experienced anything like that before. And what he's talking about is that we had a girls' night out for the pageant, and we were taking pictures in Waikiki on the street, and this crowd of tourists just came and were taking pictures, and they were so thrilled and excited to see us, and it was like paparazzi. But it's a cool position to have because you see how wide your influence can spread, and hopefully for me, I want to use my platform for the better and make positive changes in the communities that I care about. So I can get some weird messages on Instagram, some shady comments, but ultimately it's a blessing to have like this new influence and reach.
And fans. Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
It's still kind of weird to me. Like,
to me, it's weird too. For me,
you must have a lot.
It's, you know, honestly, I'm sorry for all those people that are following me, but like, for me, and it's gonna sound strange, but I don't really connect with anybody that's following me unless I actually meet them. So when people actually come up to me and they go like, "Hey, I listen to your podcast," or like I've watched one of your Instagram videos, then I'm actually like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, then I can connect with them. But then if it's like just online, then I'm like, there's no emotion for me. It's just like, "Oh, okay, hi." Like, thank you for commenting, or you know,
totally.
thank you for liking. But once I meet them, then I'm invested, right? And it's and you know, I don't know how I'll feel with people like coming up and surrounding me, or like having this huge crowd of people, huge crowd of Japanese tourists.
that part is it takes some getting used to, and it's kind of like sometimes people just sneak up on you and want to take a picture, and it's like you kind of want to start charging for it, but you know it's harmless.
$10.
No. But going back to your point about connecting with people like on social media versus in person, like interesting side fact is that I lose followers when I post a regular post on Instagram, but gain followers through stories. I think that goes back to your point because it's more personal, like the videos, and people want to see what you're doing behind the scenes, and that's what they're interested in. And most of the times, like posts for me right now are to share more information about my sponsors or post for the pageant, and it's a little less personal. So stories is an effective way to spread your platform, and I don't know, something I've learned throughout the last year.
I know. You know, it's funny. I've actually found like some people that have been like creeping on my stories.
Oh yeah.
Like Maoli, I'm gonna shout you out there because
music.
Because he checks out my stories all the time. That guy. Yeah. And then there's but they don't follow me. No, I'm just joking. It's all good. But then there's like other people, and I'm like, oh, who are these other people? And some of them are like these fitness people, and I'm like, I don't do anything that's fitness.
Yeah, you never know who's watching.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. Like, I feel like when you have this kind of position, you know this too. Like, it's kind of strange. You kind of always have to be on your best behavior.
Definitely.
And for me, because the pageant is also for me about being a role model. Like, I'm really passionate about being a positive influence for the next generation, and because of that, like, I just feel like I have to be on my best behavior at all times. And it's been hard to relax, honestly, a little bit, but I try to schedule time to have fun. As weird as that sounds, it's something that I have to do or else I won't do it. And I think that's important to just have balance. So,
Right.
yeah.
And that's something I emphasize too, especially talking with one of my friends, about having that balance between work and having even just a couple hours to yourself. I mean, you can have it with friends, but then there's a difference with spending time with friends and spending time by yourself as well.
Right.
And just kind of unwinding, you
Yeah.
know. And, life can be so crazy that there's just so many things that can go on. And especially now, I mean, like for like my podcast, there's like that, and there's school, and then there's other things like HSMAI. There's also accounting club. There's also national. Oh man, I'm gonna get this wrong. Leadership of Success. Man, I think I butchered their thing, but that's okay.
Yeah.
They know.
I realize that when you're an entrepreneur trying to start something for yourself, it's so easy to get caught up in working all the time. Like, it's much easier to disconnect when you have a normal 9 to 5, or when you're done with your shift, you're done.
Yep.
But when you're trying to create something for yourself, it never stops. So that's why it's even more important for people like us to schedule in that time. Yeah. And I realize that if I don't, like, I'll go crazy. I'll just snap, one day. I'm already tired, hungry. But
yeah, you do it quite a bit. I mean, you already have the pageant right now, but you also have school. Like, there's a lot of midterms, at least right now. How do you like find balance with that? There's just so much going on.
The balance is kind of limited right now. School maybe taking a back seat to the pageant because it's so close. I try to study when I can. Like, I just came back from New York on Friday and just reading my textbook on the plane. Didn't watch any movies. Little sacrifices like that, because I just know it's something I have to get done. School is important to me, but the pageant is number one right now. So yeah, we'll see. Wish me luck. My midterm is on Tuesday. 8 chapters of accounting.
Oh, you'll be fine. Why say that? Because I'm an accounting major.
You were his assistant. You were my teacher's assistant. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, I was his assistant for like 4 years.
I might need a tutor.
His class is not that bad.
Okay, hopefully. We'll see how Tuesday goes. Yeah. That's weird too, because so I'm taking classes at Windward Community College right now, and so I'm technically a student at UC Berkeley, but I wrote a letter to ask for the semester off to train for the pageant at home. And they gave me a whole year off, so technically I won't be going back till fall 2020. But they did say that they want me to, stay engaged in the classroom, and so they allowed me to take classes at Windward Community College, which has been awesome. And it's weird, though, being Miss Windward USA and going to Windward Community College. Like, every day when I drive up and see Windward, I'm like, whoa, this is weird. Like, I represent like the people that go to this school and live here. It's just so crazy. And a lot of the girls have titles from, say, like one town or one city, but for me it's like from North Shore to Waimanalo, and I feel like that's a big responsibility.
That's huge.
There's a lot going on in the Windward community right now. So yeah, but it's cool. I've been able to engage with a lot of different organizations and just individuals within the Windward side, and it's been super cool to get to know different people and people that I live with, my neighbors.
And you see every day.
Yeah. Right. And just having that connection and getting to know people on a different level, like, it's really cool. I went into this with the intention, like, knowing that, changing the world doesn't start with, grand gestures, but little things that we can do every day to make a difference. And once I got the title, I didn't realize how big of an impact I could have. And I just walked in the Aloha Week parade, and wearing my crown and sash is cool and all, but seeing the little kids, like, on the side of the street, just so happy to see someone that represents them. And having a role model is just the coolest thing ever, and that's my favorite part about this all. Yeah.
So shifting gears a little bit, let's talk about volleyball.
Okay.
And you actually started at 6 years old.
Yep.
Right?
Well,
So
5. Yeah.
oh, 5.
Yeah.
So tell us like how much of an impact it's had on your life because you've done it for such a long time.
Volleyball was my everything for a really long time. The reason why I started was because my parents wanted to enroll me in like the community league, and it was past the deadline. So my dad had to coach the team in order to get me in. And that was, from that moment on, the rest was history. My dad was my coach for probably like 10 years. And it was hard a lot of the times being the coach's kid. You know, you probably take the most criticism, not only at practice, but at home too. But it was also cool because it was a way for my family to bond. We would practice and train and then go to UH volleyball games and go to games on the mainland. But that discipline really helped to prepare me for Miss Hawaii USA. Not only in like forms of training, but being resilient mentally. Because there are a lot of times in this process this year where I felt defeated, but because of the training I had from volleyball and playing sports, I just knew I had to pick myself up and keep going. So volleyball taught me a lot in that sense, and also gave me some of my best friends and coolest experiences. So yeah, I owe a lot to volleyball, even though I didn't like playing it at times. And also like the goal since middle school was to always play in college. But my junior year, I hurt my back and found out I had scoliosis. And from then on, like I had to shift gears and realize that that wasn't the plan for me. And now doing the pageant is kind of like understanding and realizing, whoa, like that didn't happen for a reason. Like me not playing in college, there was something behind that. And to allow me to be here and finally realizing all of that has been a really interesting but fulfilling time and feeling for me. Yeah.
And that's crazy too because as a pageant person,
Yeah, pageant
person,
pageant girl, it's okay.
Yeah. Pageant girl, you have to have good posture, and scoliosis is like is interesting because for those who don't know, scoliosis is it kind of distorts your spine.
Yeah, it's like the shape of an S.
Yeah.
So funny story. So when I first started working with my trainer for the pageant in March, I think, like I could barely do the workouts because of my back. It was so weak. So at first the goal wasn't even to lose weight or, you know, do X number of squats. It was just to like stand straight. And I think it worked. There was lots of yoga involved and stability stuff, but it was crazy. Like at first my training was just about posture and standing on my 2 feet evenly because I couldn't even do that before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, there was one point my senior year, I was still playing volleyball even though my back was hurt. And my poor mom, she had to like help me put on my clothes and like take me to the bathroom at 18. Like that's so embarrassing. But again, resiliency, learning experience helped me in the pageant so much too.
And the strength that you have to kind of persevere through that too.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad like the back stuff is pretty much over with though. There was a lot of struggle and pain involved in that. But yep, made it here. I'm gonna be walking in 6.5-inch heels in 3 weeks on stage, so that's crazy. But yeah.
And the one thing about the pageant I was just thinking about is some anxiety. I mean, like having them ask the questions and you might even know them, like even the anxiety to answer those questions you already know about. That must be a lot of pressure as well.
It gets easier when you practice a lot. My coaches are really good. They call me maybe 3-4 times a week just to practice questions on the phone, or we meet up
Oh,
and
interesting.
yeah, they'll have a panel of judges and we'll be standing in front of them answering questions. But I think the number one thing that helps me with that is to just breathe before going into any interview or practicing on stage questions. Just to slow down, the breathing really helps. In May, I finished my yoga teacher certification.
Wow.
So learning how to breathe was super important. Thank you in
Mm.
that, and super helpful in the pageant too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, there is a lot of anxiety involved. But I haven't felt it so much. Probably the closer it gets, I will. But I think I've prepared, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we won't know until November 10th, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So, one more thing. Just tell our audience what kind of message you want for them in regards to what they can get from this podcast.
This podcast?
Yeah, specifically with you as our guest today. What message do you want to
Well, I guess
tell our
I'll just
audience?
talk a little bit about why I'm doing Miss Hawaii USA. So I grew up as an only child, and although that made me really independent, headstrong, and determined, I did spend a lot of time alone as a kid. And so coming into the pageant, I knew that one of my biggest reasons for running was for the next generation. And I know that even no matter what age you are, you're always going through something, going through a challenge in your life. And for the kids in our state, I feel like I just want to be there for them. Because there are many times where I wish that I had a bigger sister, a role model to look up to and have to just talk to sometimes. And so for the events that we go to and the appearances, I think it's really important to not just show up and wave and smile with your crown and sash, but to get down and do the stuff that people don't want to do and really connect with others and bring back that sense of humanity that I feel like our society kind of lacks right now. As great as social media can be, we can be attached to our phone a lot of the time as well.
Definitely.
So going into this, that's the message that I wanted to spread, was just connection and being there for one another through the good times and the bad. I think that's what we really need to bring back. And any hard question that I get asked, political question, whatever, that's what I bring it back to. And that's my little trick to answering those questions.
That's good.
So yeah, that's a little tip too. But really just connecting with people and building relationships. I think that's where it starts for everything and anything.
I think Hawaii is a perfect place for that kind of community to bring. I mean, if you look at the news right now, there's a huge movement about the Hawaiian people coming together and unity, but also people from outside of Japanese, Japanese supporting
our community as well.
And others that are just not even Hawaiian that are coming together and trying to protect the community we have here, or preserve what we have, and make sure it doesn't go crazy going forward.
Yeah, as a Hawaiian, seeing the support from outside communities has been so cool, and seeing everyone come together. I went to Mauna Kea actually at the very beginning of this all. Oh yeah, and seeing all the flags of different countries and
it's
cultures
crazy
up there, it's just like, wow, we really do have a lot of support. And I think the Hawaiian community does the same for other cultures as well. So bringing that back together, it's just been super cool to see on different levels, as big as Mauna Kea, and that whole movement has become like, it's just really cool.
We're actually going to play a game. This is a new segment for my podcast. So this is something new for me, as in these questions were new for you. So, but I thought we'd have this cool little game I call the Storyteller, Yep. Because there's a lot of storytellers on this island.
Yeah.
So right now...
I'm nervous, okay.
I have 2 notes. You actually have 2 notes as well.
Yeah.
And one has a truth and the other one has a lie. We're each going to pick between 1 and 2 because they're numbered,
Okay.
and you're gonna have to, or whoever's going first. So if I read mine, you're gonna have to. You have a minute to ask me a bunch of questions, and then after the minute is done, you have to say if it's the truth or it's the lie.
Oh,
Okay, so
I'm not the best interviewer. Okay.
I can start with yours first
Okay.
then. Okay.
Go ahead.
Just so you know. So I'll choose I'm kind of nervous too. So I'll choose number 2. Choose number 2.
So I read it.
You read it. Yep.
I almost got kidnapped in New York.
So did they put you in a cab?
Almost.
Why were they kidnapping you?
I don't know.
Is it because you were wearing your crown and they thought you were some kind of fancy person or something?
No.
Do you know why they kidnapped you?
No. Almost. Almost got kidnapped.
Okay. Were you with someone when you're about to get kidnapped?
Yes.
How many people were there?
2.
So
What
how did you
you?
escape?
Dang. My dad came to the rescue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how did he carry you out, or what did you do? Did you pull your hand?
I made it hard for you.
Oh, this is hard. But
I'll explain after.
I think it's the truth.
Dang, yes it is.
Okay, yo. So wait, what? You almost got kidnapped in This was
Yeah.
just like the past week, then.
No, okay. So this is a different time in New York.
Oh,
When
okay.
I went with my
Interesting.
family,
Mm.
like 4 years ago. I was still in high school.
Mm.
And we were walking down Canal Street in Chinatown. And my parents were behind me. I was walking in front of them. And I kind of see this guy. He was like 6'8".
Oh,
huge.
sheesh.
Start walking next to me and really close.
Mm.
And then he starts like getting closer and closer. And he grabs my arm and just starts walking really fast, like walking away with me.
Oh my gosh.
And then my dad just like, that was the fastest he's ever walked. And he just grabs his arm and like throws it away from mine.
Oh wow.
And the guy like ran away.
Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, it was scary.
Wait, how old were you?
15.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah,
Shoot,
so when I
man.
went to New York by myself this week,
You brought a gun.
my dad was really, really nervous.
He brought a
about
gun.
that. Yeah, he would have given me one if he could. But yeah,
Oh man, that's
didn't get kidnapped this week in New York.
that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts though. At 15. Oh, sheesh.
Yeah.
Can't imagine that.
You know, at the time, I didn't even realize what was going on.
Mm.
I only realized after that someone was trying to kidnap me.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyways, should I pick one of
Sure.
yours?
Yes. 1 or 2?
One.
1.
Always got to be number 1.
You know, you know what's funny? I don't even know which one
Oh.
these are. So we'll see. Oh my god. Okay. So I once almost died at California Adventure Park because my seatbelt wasn't latched in.
What? What ride was this?
Oh wait, is the minute going?
Oh,
Okay.
What ride?
The Calaboomer.
How old were you?
I don't remember. I think 11?
Were you sitting with a friend or a family member?
I was by myself.
You were by yourself. When did you realize that you weren't buckled in?
When the ride started.
And what is it, like a roller coaster or what is it? Like, do you go upside down? Like, could you have fallen out?
It's one of those that shoots up in the air and then you
At least
go back.
gravity would bring you back down.
Well, this one started going up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you
I don't know if the ride still exists though. Over
Oh,
there.
probably because people weren't getting buckled in. I'm just
We'll
kidding.
see, yeah.
Ooh, I think I know already. Did
You
anything?
sure? You sure?
Did the worker like?
Oh, I
figure,
don't.
did you tell the worker? Did they?
Yeah, I did, but I don't think
Did
they.
he get in trouble?
I don't think they listened.
Oh. Okay, I think this actually happened to you.
It did.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's called the Maliboomer. Actually,
Oh, that's a good name.
yeah. I always call it the Caliboomer, but I think it's actually called the Maliboomer. And I think I was 11. I don't remember too much, but I remember maybe I was 13 actually.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's scary.
Yeah, it was scary because I was the only one that went on the ride because, I do a lot of crazy stuff. So I,
That's another podcast.
So yeah, that's another podcast of me doing crazy things.
Yeah.
But my family didn't want to go on it. They're afraid of heights. I don't care. But my seat, so it has like a seatbelt like shield, and then I put it on, and it didn't latch in. Like it kept coming off,
Oh, no.
but it was like coming off like halfway. So when it shot me up, I had to hold it down.
Oh my god.
And it was scary because I was floating for a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
And I was like, I freaked out after. I was like, I'm not going on this ride again. We need to sue Disney.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
But it was crazy because I was floating and I was like, oh my gosh, oh shoot. And the worker, I told him, I was like, hey, my stuff's not latched in.
Yeah.
They're like, oh,
It's fine.
yeah, you're good. You're gonna survive.
I want to know what your other.
Oh, my other one was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, show me your other one
Okay.
too. Mine was I once snorted baby powder, so that I looked like a drug addict.
Oh my. Wow.
And that's a half truth, because I.
Okay.
But I can tell you that one after.
I tried to make mine kind of similar so I could trick you. So the other one was I broke my leg in Japan.
That actually sounds believable.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why I wrote it. But yeah, I had never broke a body part before.
Well, I did snort. I snorted wasabi, but I did snort pixie
On
stick
accident?
too. Oh, the wasabi was a bet.
Oh.
The pixie stick was I was trying to look like a drug addict.
Oh my
And my eyes were bloodshot red and stuff like that too. Yeah, after.
God. Wow.
So if you wanna know a
Story
trick,
time.
yeah, if you wanna know a trick for going into movies and you wanna look like a drug addict, start pixie stick or something.
Your wife is like,
Nah, she'll take it. Anyway, thank you for joining me on my podcast,
Thank
Anela.
you.
This was very fun, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see it and excited for you.
Oh, thank you, and I'm excited for you. You're gonna be going to the competition on November 10th. So, are there tickets still available, or did it just close out?
Yep, it's all online. They're trying to go paperless, so it's on the link in my Instagram bio if you want to purchase tickets. November 10th, 7 p.m. at the Hawaii Convention Center. Yeah.
And check out her Instagram. It's Anela_Apo.
Yep.
Right. And and check out my Instagram page. Talk Story Podcast, all one word, all lowercase.
He's you're going back to what's it called? Your food posts, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about going back to my food posts, and
that'll be perfect timing because I'll be able to eat like a normal person again. And
then I can share with
recipes.
Recipes. I could just show. I'm trying to go see if I can do some more vegetarian dishes too.
Ooh,
so
I'm interested.
we'll see. I can, but it's a little hard. My wife doesn't like mushrooms or avocado.
Oh.
So so I that limits me on some items, especially if I do an Italian dish. I gotta stick with just zucchini and tomatoes.
Hey, that's healthy.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the post.
Oh, thank you. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Shoots.